Yeah. Hustling and grinding, don't know where to go. Emerald Coast board, got the knowledge flow. Whispers in the wind, strategies unfold. Business blueprint like a pirate's code.
Welcome back to the Tab Lab. Happy 2026.
Happy New Year!
This is an exciting time. I know I'm excited for 2026. Hopefully you are as well.
I am.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be a good year.
But before we jump into our amazing podcast for the Tab Lab today, a few shout outs. Tanya Seabrook with Seabrook Marketing. She has been helping us tremendously. We use her space, her studio here to film these, which is pretty awesome. She lets us kind of do this.
It's an amazing studio.
It is. She works it around and we get to do a lot of stuff with it. So really excited and happy for her and appreciative of her. The other person we are very thankful for is Ryan Balmer with the Suffer Up podcast. They help us on the back end stuff because, again, we are novices at this. I do have to work with Mickey all the time, so it kind of knocks things down quite a bit. So we keep Ryan around to help us out.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. He does a good job.
He does a really good job.
Yeah.
But today's topic, I think, is really important for the beginning of the new year because it actually starts with looking back from previous years. And it's more specifically last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's really reflecting on what went right last year and what went wrong last year. Because there's a lot to it. It's not just, let me open up my daily journal and what does the reflection say for today or from last year? There's a lot more that really goes into the reflection aspect to it. And that's really what we're going to break down today. Because if we're not reflecting properly, we're not moving ahead properly.
That's right.
Kind of how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't always day to day, like in June, you're not saying, hey, what's gone right? You don't always look at it. So now that's why at the end of the year, it's time. Let's focus. Or beginning of the year,
Beginning of the year.
Should be focusing on looking at those things.
Yes. And it's really kind of funny. Whenever we do strategic planning for our tab boards, we always start kind of October, November is really when we start the strategic planning process or aspect for next year, right? And one of the big things in there that we force our members to do is a reflection of last year. What happened? What went right? What went wrong? How can we improve? How did my position change? All these different things, and it really makes them think. And I don't know about you, but I know with the members that I work with, they're all saying like that is the hardest part.
It is, and you can see their faces, and it's like, when you're watching them, they're scrunching their faces. It's like an Air Force guy trying to tie a knot. It's just painful to watch. But it's good.
I mean, it is good. We do have to tie our shoelaces, so we're pretty proficient at that. We're just not as good as the Navy.
I thought you guys just put slip-ons on.
No, that's for our 5-star hotels.
Oh yes,
for our 5-star hotels, not day to day. That's really where that comes in.
Y'all need help.
But looking at this reflection, going back to the reflection aspect of things, we always look at reflection as being most of the time a negative thing. What went wrong? Right? Isn't that usually what we focus on?
It is. It's kind of one of those things that when you look back and you go, okay, how did 2025 go? Everybody immediately goes to the negative aspect of things.
I didn't do this. This didn't work out how I thought. I really wish I would have started. Whatever.
Right. Absolutely. And we beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's important to, when you start the new year, you start with looking at, hey, what went right? What did I do right this year?
It's a great concept.
Mm-hmm.
Because, when you start looking at the positive right off the bat, it already helps you want to reflect. Because now you're releasing dopamine. You're happy about these things, right? You're just like, man, that was great. We did so many good things. And it starts the reflection process off in a really good direction instead of just the negatives.
Right.
Because we don't like focusing on negatives.
Right. And, when you start reflecting on what went good in 2025 versus what went bad, you're starting with, hey, I'm going to lift myself up versus I'm going to beat myself down. And you're already starting off on the negative aspect of it. And I think that's a good way to start, to say, hey, what did we do good this year?
Yeah. And I know you do this all the time whenever you're making tacos or barbecuing. He always starts with, man, this went really well. This tasted great versus this was terrible. And which is, I always have to break the news to him that was not so good.
Yeah. He's never turned away barbecue, so it's not that bad.
I have not. I have
Yeah.
not. I mean, barbecue's delicious.
Yeah,
Really.
thank you.
Yeah,
And
it
the
is.
brisket from Christmas went very well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, they said it was my best yet.
Wow. That's high praise.
It is.
Good for you, sir. Yeah,
Ooh,
that's awesome.
Victory lap
That's
later.
right.
Because they got to work it off.
But if we start out looking at the negative things, start out looking at all the things we failed at kind of going forward, it's really in the mind, like in the brain, it's actually a really dangerous thing to start looking at that. Because it's really hard for us to admit that we failed, especially entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not noticing that you failed, if you're not thinking about that like on a consistent basis of the failures and how things went well, when they failed and all that stuff, like if you're not dissecting all of it, you're just looking at the end result
Mm-hmm.
of its failing, what that's doing is it's actually triggering your amygdala. And when you trigger that amygdala,
Here we go.
I know he hates this stuff, but it's so important because it's so cool.
Yep.
It's
It
so
is.
cool. But the amygdala, what that does is that's your fight or flight response. So when we start triggering things with this fear of failure, which if you haven't checked out that podcast, that's a pretty good one.
That's a great one.
It's a great one. But we start triggering this amygdala. And so now all of a sudden we start reflecting on this fear of failure, on this failure aspect. So it's a fight or flight aspect. And we are now making decisions based purely on fear alone and not what came about those failures. Like, because every time we fail, we learn something.
Right.
If you're not learning something, you're not growing,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. If you're not learning, you're usually not failing aspect. But when we fail there and we are just focused on that fear of that fight or flight, oh my goodness, we got to do something immediately. We got to go. We got to do this. We got to stop. Whatever it may be, we are not focused on the ROI. We're not focused on where we are growing or, hey, this part of whatever we were working on worked out really well.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really good. Here is where we messed up. Or here's where I messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I can make it better. But the rest of it went really well. And now we can move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, we talk about that, stepping stones, when you have those mistakes, they truly are tuition to your
Yes.
success.
That's a
Because
good way
when
to
you
put
make
it.
those
That's a good way to put it.
mistakes, you're getting better. But, focusing on those positive aspects of it, you should focus when you look at your year, you should say, hey, what went right? What did I do this year that moved the needle
Ooh.
on my business? What made
Ooh.
things happen? Because you should, there's some things that made things go good and there's some things that made things go bad.
Yeah.
It could have been in your advertising. It could have been by adding processes,
Procedures.
SOPs.
I like those.
There we go. I knew he was going to,
I love those.
relationship building. What
Mhm.
did you do this year that made things better for your business?
That's a good reflection point. I
Mhm.
like that. What relationships? How can you reflect on last year's relationships that you've either established or enhanced
Mm-hmm.
from last year?
It's my favorite part.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's a big thing. When you look at your relationships, because we talk about life, health, business all the time.
All the
That's
time.
the core of growing your business is
Mhm.
those three things for you. When you look at that and you look back at 2025, you should think, what have I done this year to improve how I'm viewed or how I've helped other people around me?
That's big.
It is.
That's heavy.
It's a deep
It's a
thought.
heavy reflection. Man, he's busting out old man wisdom already. Just going
Yeah.
deep now.
And when you don't focus on those things like that, who have I made an impact on in my life this last year? Who have I helped? And there's the other flip side of that. Have I worked so hard in my business that I've damaged relationships, which is
That's
the
tough.
worst part of it.
That is, and that's tough because relationships, our personal relationships and our business relationships should not be a reflection of us in our business. Because remember, we have to separate
Mm-hmm.
our business and ourselves. So it should never, come between us. And if we're not separating those, you're exactly right. We could be damaging our personal relationships because we're so focused on the business.
Right. I mean, if you've been listening to the Tab Lab podcast for a while, you know that Neil and I, we value our family, our kids and our wives. We value them, but we never would ever let the success of our business get in the way of our family.
No, nope.
Never.
Nope. It's not worth it.
Mm-mm.
So, and I think reflecting back, because we can also spin that again to the what have I done last year that worked really well for my family to continue building and boosting those relationships moving forward so I can continue doing it this year instead of not looking at that at all and then all of a sudden getting sucked into my business. Now I'm having an identity crisis and pushing my family away. So we can learn from our positives just the same as we learn from our negatives.
You know, and that's right. So, you know, old man wisdom here, old man living life thing going on.
Throwing them out.
I realized, you know, I have kids and I love them so much. And then we didn't take a lot of vacations because we were doing things in life. Life was happening. We couldn't always afford vacations, or we were working too hard and can't afford to take a vacation.
Yep. If I leave now, I'll have more work to come back to.
Exactly. And so one year we took a vacation. We went to Dolphin Island, and it was the best time. We had so much fun. And that was 9 years ago that we took that vacation. And the kids today still remember we called it the summer of U-turn, because if you were on Dolphin Island when you were using Google Maps, it couldn't catch up with you right away. So we would start driving the way we thought it was telling us to go, and then it would go recalculating, and it would tell us do a U-turn here, and we were always doing U-turns. And then it just really hit me at that point that my kids will not remember. They can't remember a single thing they got for Christmas that year, but they remember that trip this far later. So I learned from that. I took that lesson and that reflection the next year going, okay, vacations are important.
Yes.
And we work hard to take vacations. We take trips now, things. So now instead of worrying about showering my kids with gifts, I'm more about, hey, let's create memories that are going to last.
And I think that's huge. And we can totally relate that to business as well. Like, you know, Mickey is doing this with his family and saying, hey, this is what my family loves. This is what they're cherishing. Let's give them more of that. Let's take away the things that they don't cherish as much and give them the things that they do cherish. We do the same thing with business, with our employees, with our business partners, vendors, anybody we're using. Hey, what did they really value last year? Did they truly value this gift I gave them? Or did they value more us just going to grab lunch just to talk? You know, what did they care about? And if we can reflect on that from the business aspect as well, now we're deepening those relationships in a much different way.
Yeah,
I think
that's really deep there when you start thinking about it, because a lot of times in business, the relationships are not always me building you, you building me. It's like, hey, I need this, I'm taking from you.
Correct.
And we don't focus on that. Hey, what do you need for your business?
Yeah, what can I give?
You know,
what can I offer?
Exactly. And it's kind of like the saying that, you know, if you really want to help your friends in business, stop asking them for discounts.
Yep, that's a big one.
And that's
a big one.
Yeah. Hey, you got a business? Can I have? No. That's the same thing in your relationship. So when you talk about that, that's important, because the break that they may have increased prices and you didn't know because they didn't want to blow that relationship.
Yep.
And the truth of the matter is if they go out of business, I got to do a new relationship.
Correct.
So why not make that small adjustment for me to help you so that relationship grows? And when you do, they'll last forever.
But that's a really big reflection aspect. Like, how often do we stop and actually reflect on that? Do we stop and think, hey, this is working, this is moving that needle in the direction I want it to go versus moving it back the opposite way? It's pretty deep.
It is.
Thought there.
It really is.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about a lot of the positives.
Yes.
So let's talk about now. I'm gonna let you go here. Let's talk about the mistakes that we made in the year.
This is where people dwell, and that's the problem, is people dwell on the mistakes, not looking at the positives. And when we really start focusing on these mistakes over and over and over and over, we're actually, and I know he's going to love this, building a neural pathway in our brains. You're building a habit. Here we go. That forces you to focus only on the negatives. And that's super dangerous, because then how do we focus on the positives? If we are only focused on the negatives, and that's what our brain is now rewired to focus on, we will always reflect on, well, this is what I messed up. This is how our team could have done better. This is where our business is failing, instead of, these are the successes that we've had this year.
Right.
This is where our team is better than anybody else, and so on and so forth. And I think that's huge,
Yeah.
because we never do that. And it's very dangerous.
It is. I mean, you talk about that neural pathway, and if you want more on that, listen to some of the other podcasts. But basically, that's creating that habit now.
Yeah.
So now our habit is to beat ourselves up.
Yep.
How are we ever going to grow if we're consistently beating ourselves up?
We won't. We will never grow. And this also gets really dangerous too. Exploitation versus exploration.
Ooh.
The ambidextrous leadership style. I know it gets crazy here.
Here we go deep again.
I know. I love it. But we have to reflect on these things. And if we reflect back on the previous year and we're like, we did everything right. We didn't have a single failure. We had only successes. And again, if we're only focused on the failure, we're not really growing or learning from them. And we're building this negative pathway. But when we focus saying, hey, we didn't have any mistakes. We were perfect in our operations. We were perfect in our relationships. You are only focused on what you know, and you are not growing. You're not exploring new territory. And if you're 100% perfect, you are not growing. You become a stagnant business.
The rose-colored glasses.
The rose-colored glasses. That's
Yeah,
right.
wow.
Because what happens to a stagnant business?
Yeah. They don't grow. They go out of business.
They go out of business.
Ouch.
It's bad. So when you stop and reflect on the exploitation versus exploration,
That's good.
Where are we moving forward? Where are we moving that needle that we need to be moving towards?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, these are the stepping stones. This is the tuition that I learned.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Let's get back at it. Like, this is right where we needed to improve. So let's do it. Let's move that needle forward where we need to go.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. And
Thank you.
I'm giving some Air Force credit there. Maybe it's the old man wisdom rubbing off on him. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Still can't barbecue.
Nope, not like he can.
Yeah. So, that is so true, because, you can flip it, and instead of looking at it all negative, you can just say it's all positive.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
That's definitely not growth.
No, because, you're not growing at all at that point, are you? We are just amazing. We did everything right.
Mm-hmm.
And
while all your customers are going, I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, which is not good.
No, it's not. So I do think that, that looking at all those things that you're going through, those are mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at them, and
Yeah.
you got to grow from them.
Is there a good way that you know of to start looking at all aspects, the success and the failures?
Well, looking at it, sitting down and looking at all of course, our, end of year process sequence is
It's
amazing.
pretty awesome.
It does, because it puts it all out there for you to look at.
It does.
And what's kind of cool about it through that, I know we're kind of plugging our own stuff here. We don't usually do that, but it allows you to also share that with your team members.
Yeah.
And, I think it's a critical thing for us too, when we do look at our year end and we look at our new year and we start looking at things, as an entrepreneur, you shouldn't just look at this on your own. This should be a team effort. In my opinion, you should be talking to your team members and saying, hey, from your perspective, how did the year look?
Mm-hmm.
Don't lead them. Let them come up with it. When you say things like, hey, what did you think of 2025? Were these processes good?
Well, yeah, they were great.
You just led them into
them.
saying something that you want them to say versus just an open-ended question to saying, hey, how'd you feel about 2025, Neil? Do you think we did a good job, bad job? What do we need to grow?
Mm-hmm.
What worked, what didn't?
Yeah.
And it opens it up.
Yeah, because they could be saying something that they just don't like their parking spot.
That's true.
And you're, pigeonholing them into one thing that they really don't care.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it works great. And you're like, cool, everything's amazing.
Yeah. On that note, some criticism from me to you, we should have more of the Taco Tuesdays. I'm very unhappy that we haven't had enough Taco Tuesdays this year.
He needs tacos in his life.
Tacos.
He's all about them tacos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the brewskis that follow.
Yep. I had tacos 3 days in a row last month. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good for you.
Amazing. And I wasn't upset.
He's like, this kind of taco. I want some fish tacos, want some barbecue tacos, want some regular tacos.
Yep.
All over.
And
like it.
Tanya's like, "Are you sure you want tacos again?" Yep.
Yes, I am. Well, I mean, everybody loves a good taco.
Well, they can get whatever they want.
That's
I'm
right.
getting tacos.
See, there you go. I love it.
Mhm.
But I think what you were talking about with the employer talking to employees aspect, definitely not, putting them into a silo of like, hey, how did our SOPs work this year? Giving them that open thing to start that off. One thing, and again, this is going to go kind of to the negative aspect of things, but having that owner, that leader, admit that they are wrong. If they start talking about, hey, let's do a recap of 2025. Here's all the amazing things we did. Here's where I messed up. When they start talking about where they messed up, that owner messes up, it really opens the floor for these employees, because now the employees feel a little bit more comfortable admitting that, they had some mistakes, they caused some failure, that it was part of them. But what it also does is it allows for creativity for them to move forward of like, okay, if we mess up, that's okay. The boss man just did it. He just admitted that he messed up. He or she messed up. Now, let me explore. Let me move that needle this way. And so it allows them to be more creative with their work, with whatever they're doing, to kind of, see if there's a better, more efficient way to do things.
Yeah. And, that's really deep too, because when you peel that back a little bit, you go, okay, it's one thing for me to sit here and look at my 2012 and review and say, I made these mistakes. That's one thing. But to swallow your pride and say, hey, I messed this up to my team. I didn't do a very good job here. That's some serious pride swallowing, but that is growth.
It's huge growth. Yeah. And it's really growth. And really, if we keep going deeper into that, we can start looking at, hey, this is what happened last year. This is where our failures were, where our successes were. And we start planning them. Hey, let's plan for this failure. Hey, we know this didn't work last year, so we need to keep moving that needle forward. We need to keep going forward this way. What if this fails? And so now we're creating more this loop of reflection versus let's just try it and see what happens. It's you're planning for that failure, and you're planning to move forward from it. And then all of a sudden we are now reflecting before it happens on how we move forward. That's a lot of strategic planning.
And there's even more to that when you talk about admitting those mistakes. This goes to your employees as well as your staff or your team members. When you make that mistake, they start to feel more a part of the business. And when you sit and ask them, hey, I made a mistake, I got to get SOPs done.
Yep.
This could empower your employees to say, hey, you know what? I'll help you do it. That's a strength of mine.
Yeah. Man, that would be huge.
It would.
It? Like,
yes.
Now we're all coming together on the same page.
Exactly. And when you do that and you open it up and you say, hey, how did it go in 2025? What can we do better in 2026? Now you've got employees feeling that they have a piece of the business. And when people feel they have a piece of the business and they feel part of the business, not just an employee, they're going to work harder for you. And of course, it shouldn't be about just working harder for you, because you should be taking care of your people, pouring into your people. Neil does this to me all the time. He's constantly pouring into me. That is something that is critical, because it makes me feel more empowered into the business. And
give him ownership.
It does. That ownership, that's the word I was looking for. See,
it's okay.
He's so smarter than me.
He's just old.
That's it.
He just forgets. He got hit in the head a few too many times.
Yeah, some,
yeah.
So that ownership, though, it encourages them to work harder. And when you do that, now they also, when you say, hey, what could be better in 2026, now they feel like, hey, Neil's approachable.
Yeah.
I can say, hey, Neil.
Oh, man, that's good.
I'm thinking about, hey, what if we were to expand into this?
Yeah.
And do this? I got some friends that are doing, the supplies that we need. I can set those relationships up in place. It really opens up the door for some incredible growth.
And then there goes the growth, there goes the exploration, there goes all these things needed, but we would never have gotten there if we didn't reflect on previous years.
Yes.
I think that's a big one.
It is. Man, getting a little deep there.
I know. That's what we do.
Wow. And no tacos.
No, there weren't any tacos involved.
We need to have a meeting about 2025 in review.
I can tell you guys right now, it's going to be, we did not have enough tacos in 2025. That is what he will bring up.
How did he know?
I just know. I'm just that good.
I love tacos. I'm gonna have tacos for lunch.
Well, good for you.
One place down the street. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked about tacos.
This happens all the time. But yeah. So that's really the main portions of this reflection is, not focusing on just the failures, focusing on the success, opening it up to your team, right? Just really focusing not just even on business, but on those relationships and reflecting on those, because reflection shouldn't just be about the processes, the procedures, the what made the most money, what marketing tool worked the best, what CRM do we love or hate, all those things. It should be those relationships. It should be all around reflection of that. You got any old man wisdom anymore? Because you've been slipping it in, and it's just been like here and there.
It has been, and I think for the old man wisdom, the one things that I will say that we've talked about, and simmer down, don't create those neural pathways and habits of negative beating yourself up.
Don't do that.
I encourage people to look at your successes, because when that imposter syndrome starts speaking to you, you now have a way to say, hey, you know what? I'm looking at my year in review. I did this, I did that. I did amazing this year and all these things. I'm not an imposter. I have my confidence that I need. So you can go forward on that. And one more piece of that, relationships are critical. I firmly believe in leaving this place better than when I got it. And so relationships are important to me. So when I talk about being that person that makes an impact on somebody's life, I try to do that every day. How can I help somebody different? And so my reflection for the year really keys in, hey, did I help people this year or did I hurt people this year?
Ooh. Man, that is deep old man wisdom.
It is.
That's
no tacos either.
Yeah, it's like he didn't even get me any tacos for Christmas. It was really sad. See where that relationship is going.
Well, maybe I did, but maybe I ate them already.
He'd be like, hey, I made you tacos. They didn't make it all the way.
I ate them on the way here.
Yeah. So, want to grab a beer?
Yeah, there we go.
Pretty much what it would be.
Yeah.
But no, that's some really deep and good old man wisdom, because it puts it all kind of into perspective. It's what we should be focusing on, how we should be focusing it. Yeah.
Yes.
I like it.
It's about growth.
It's about growth. That's 100% it. So if we're not using our time to reflect on how we can grow, how we can become better in all aspects, not just business, but life, health, and business.
Yes.
And then all aspects of those should be really, really good.
Yeah.
Make a really positive 2026 moving forward.
You know, and that almost kind of relates to people over profits. Just saying.
It does. It
Just
does,
saying.
Which is our value statement. We care about people over profits. And that's really, as you can see, that's where he hones in.
Yep.
And really forces me to move that needle into that direction.
That's because we're helping each other grow, brother.
That's right. And we're open. I am open to admitting my mistakes and admitting failures, to reflect on what worked, what did not work, and how we can improve together moving forward.
We'll see after the meeting.
Love it. Love it. What good stuff we had today.
Absolutely.
Yes, but thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you for listening in all 2025.
Yes,
we
it was
appreciate
awesome.
you. This is something that we love to do. It's a passion for us.
It is.
But if you guys aren't listening, it's just two guys talking.
Yeah, pretty much.
We appreciate
We
you.
record us anyway, making fun of each other.
Yeah.
But next episode is going to be amazing because we will have a guest, Andy Intrican.
Oh,
will
I'm
be
so
coming
excited
on
about that.
About
So excited.
really talking about relationships and networking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of how we can deepen those and use networking to our advantage
Yes.
for relationships.
Yes. He's the
So,
king.
he is.
You guys are going to
He's-
learn a lot.
He's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned and we will see you guys next time.
See ya.
Yeah. Hustling and grinding, don't know where to go. Emerald Coast board, got the knowledge flow. Whispers in the wind, strategies unfold. Business blueprint like a pirate's code.